Amici del Cuore Tassellato, ben ritrovati, 103esima puntata di Motocross My Passion. Un grazie sentito e dal profondo del cuore a tutti voi che ci seguite numerosissimi. Noi ce la stiamo mettendo veramente tutta per portare sempre di più motocross in televisione, dando risalto chiaramente ai nostri portacolori che si stanno ben distinguendo in questo mondiale. Non faccio i nomi, ma li sapete benissimo. Stasera manderemo in onda una puntata anomala tra virgolette con tutti gli highlights dei primi 7 round di questo fantastico mondiale MXGP 2019. Condividete il più possibile, vi ricordo che abbiamo attivo anche il nostro canale YouTube dove potete trovare tutte le puntate messe in onda dalla prima fino alla 103esima sul canale YouTube Motocross My Passion TV. Per cui cercate di condividere il più possibile, a noi farà veramente piacere, come farà, penso, piacere a tutti gli appassionati di motocross. Un saluto e vi ricordo che Motocross My Passion c'è.
Here's what happened, the opening round of MXGP, the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Patagonia, Argentina. MX2 race 1, and it was the first Foxhole shot of the year for Tom Vial on the Red Bull KTM, but it didn't last long. Less than half a lap into the race, his teammate Jorge Prado took over the lead. Third was the German on the F&H Racing Kawasaki, Henry Jacobi, but he made light work of Vial as early as lap 2 and got himself into second position. Captain Valandren didn't make a great start for HRC, but he made this move on Jago Geerts to move himself into 4th place as early as lap 3. As a poor starting Thomas Olsen started to charge his way through the field, he made his way past Vial. Valandren also followed through, and then he tried to find his way past Jacobi. He had to wait a little later on in the race, though, before the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna was able to find his way into second on that particular manoeuvre. Jago Geerts, he fell a few laps from home, whilst occupying 6th position. He would eventually come home in 11th as Mitch Evans for Honda 114 Motorsports eventually got himself up into 5th place, but it was a win in race 1 for Prado. Olsen 2nd, Jacobi 3rd. MXGP race 1, and it was Julian Lieber for Monster Energy Kawasaki who grabbed the first Foxhole shot of the season. He was closely followed by Roman Febvre on the Monster Energy Yamaha, and from the outside, Tony Cairoli on the Red Bull KTM came across everybody to get himself into 3rd by the first couple of corners. Made his way past DeSalle to get himself ahead of the Belgian, and then quickly up the inside of Febvre to go 2nd. And before the end of the lap, the Sicilian led the way. Febvre got himself into 2nd with this pass on Lieber, and he went after the 222 for Cairoli. The two Kawasaki's, though, almost came together as DeSalle went by his teammate Lieber as he charged into 3rd place. Just before the halfway mark, though, Tim Geiser nudged his HRC Honda up the inside of the Belgian, but the Panda did not relent. He found his way back past the Slovenian, but eventually his persistence paid off. He got himself into 2nd. Arno Tonus, though, for Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha, was not so lucky. He fell from 11th and would not finish the race. Geiser closed in on Febvre in the closing stages, take over 2nd, but it was Cairoli who was victorious. Geiser 2nd, Febvre 3rd. MX2 race 2. This time it was Jorge Prado with the Foxhole shot on his Red Bull KTM as he nudged aside his young teammate, Tom Vial. Mitch Evans, though, for Honda 114 Motorsport, grabbed an early advantage in 2nd position in the fluorescent colours, closely followed by Ben Watson on the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha, who got a good start in 3rd, but he fell down to 11th as early as lap 4. Left himself with a lot of work to do. Evans was there in 2nd. But then, once again, the Husqvarnas were making progress, but David Puches, he made a couple of mistakes before dropping back down to 10th. Evans got caught napping by the hard-charging number 19, Thomas Olsen, as Adam Sterry sampled the dirt. He was sitting in a comfortable 5th place. He eventually came home in 9th. Prado, though, was spectacular, and he took a double moto win here to nail his first Grand Prix win of the season. 2nd overall, Thomas Olsen, And what a fantastic debut performance from Mitch Evans, the lead Honda rider, edging out the factory Honda rider for the third step of the podium. So your overall then, Jorge Prado, Thomas Olsen and Mitch Evans. And what was a fantastic day's racing here in MX2. And of course, Jorge Prado takes the championship leader's red plate to Matsley, round 2.
It was great coming here and ending up on the top of the box for us, just to gain points and to start the season, let's say around the top 5, top 3 was good enough.
MXGP race 2 got off to an explosive start as Julian Lieber took the foxhole shot. His teammate, Commander Sal, just lost the front and high-sided himself, and he took down the 2 Yamahas of Gauthier Paulin and Jeremy Seewer. Up front though, as they emerged through the first couple of corners, Tim Geiser led the way from Romain Febvre. Febvre on the Monster Energy Yamaha found his way around the outside of the HRC Honda rider to take over the lead almost immediately as Kai Rowley once again made another fantastic start from the outside. He went from 3rd to 1st in a couple of corners around about lap 6. Febvre got pushed back to 2nd, as Geiser went through into 2nd position. Febvre then looked to consolidate that 3rd place, which would have given him 3rd overall, but then he had a big crash through the wave with a handful of laps to go. That handed 3rd to Jeremy Van Horbig. Tony Cairoli was victorious once again, 2 race wins out of 2, finally clinching an overall Grand Prix victory here in Argentina. Tim Geiser was 2nd overall, Van Horbig 3rd for Honda SR Motor Blues, a private team in MXGP. Your overall then, this weekend, Tony Cairoli, Red Bull KTM, Tim Geiser, Team HRC, Jeremy Van Horbig, Honda SR Motor Blues. Cairoli will take the red plate to Great Britain in 3 weeks' time.
Tony Cairoli, first time win here in Argentina, you must be really pleased.
Sì, è stato fantastico vincere qua in Argentina per la prima volta. Purtroppo ieri non è partita benissimo la gara con la qualifica, dove ho avuto un problema alla moto, mi sono dovuto ritirare, quindi partivo dall'ultima posizione e ho dovuto impegnarmi tantissimo nelle partenze, cercare di stare tutte e 2 le gare nei 10 e ci sono riuscito, e poi piano piano mi sono destreggiato, insomma, e sono riuscito ad arrivare davanti tutte e 2 le manche, quindi sono contento e ringrazio tutti e go fast it pasta.
Here's what happened round 2 of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Great Britain at Matsley Basin. MX2 race 1, it was Tom Vial with his 2nd foxhole shot of the season, closely followed by Thomas Kjær Olsen and the Revo Husqvarna of Dylan Walsh, number 53 on the outside. Henry Jacobi not too far behind as well in 4th position. Watson in around about 8th place, but he was quickly making progress in the early laps, but then he fell whilst hovering inside the top 4 places. He picked himself up and rejoined the battle. Tom Vial was your initial leader. He got caught and passed by TKO as Jago Geerts sampled the dirt as well. He would eventually come home in 16th place. Kevin Valana, number 10, started to make his way through the field and move on. Dylan Walsh got him a little further up the field as the 29 of Jacobi found a way around the outside of Tom Vial. Thomas Olsen was your winner, Jacobi 2nd, Vial 3rd, Watson Chervil in your top 5. MXGP race 1, Antonio Cairoli came across everybody in turn 1 to make sure he grabbed his first foxhole shot of the season. Gauthier Paulin was in there, so too Commander Sal, and the Yamaha of Gauthier Paulin and the Kawasaki of Desal. Cairoli at the bottom of the hill, though, had his hands full with Tim Geiser. Paulin managed to make a move on Van Horbig as he moved up into 4th place. Tim Geiser passed Cairoli to take the lead, but that did not last long as 2 laps later, the Slovenian threw himself and his Honda up the track. It was a miracle he picked himself up and rejoined the race in 3rd, which is where he would stay. A poor start from Tommy Searle left him fighting through traffic. Eventually, he picked his way through to finish 11th on the bike at DRT Kawasaki. More mistakes from Geiser, but he did hang on to 3rd. But it was Cairoli who won race 1. Paulin 2nd, Geiser, Desal, Van Horbig, your top 5. MX2 race 2, and another foxhole shot for Tom Vial. That's 3 now of the season out of the first 4 starts of the season. Again, Dylan Walsh was fast on his Revo Husqvarna. Thomas Kjær Olsen never too far behind either on that number 19, and Henry Jacobi on the F&H Kawasaki. Calvin Volanderen also made a good start for HRC on the number 10 machine. TKO though charged down the inside of Dylan Walsh into second. Henry Jacobi made an error. He slipped a gear. That allowed Volanderen through into third. Wasn't long though before Olsen found his way around the outside of Tom Vial to take over the lead on his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Jacobi around the outside of Dylan Walsh to move into fourth. And then Volanderen up the inside of the young Frenchman Vial to take over second with about 3 laps to go. A lap later, Jacobi was past the French rider on his F&H Kawasaki and into third. Olsen, though, was victorious with a double moto win. His first race win since Latvia 2018 and his first Grand Prix victory 2018. Volanderen came home in second, Jacobi third. Olsen, Jacobi, Vial, though, your podium. Vial on the podium for the first time in his MX2 career. He's only 2 rounds in, remember. Olsen is the new championship leader ahead of Jacobi and Volanderen. And just to cement his place at the top of the championship table, a nice red plate swiftly delivered. He'll take that to Valkenswaard, round 2.
It's definitely a step forward. Last year here was really rough for me with 2 DNFs, but it's amazing to come back here, and all winter I've just been feeling so comfortable on my Husqvarna, and yeah, I just felt really good coming into this year, and it's so amazing to make it 1-1.
MXGP race 2, and once again Tony Cairoli on the 222 Red Bull KTM. He found his way over the foxhole shot line, but Ferris riding in for Roman Febvre went down and got hit by a ton of people going through that first turn. Dropping downhill for the first time, Tony Cairoli. Alongside him was Tim Geiser. Clement de Sal caught the rear wheel of Paulin at the bottom of the hill, took out his teammate and fell right the way to the back of the field as Geiser up front took over the lead from Tony Cairoli. Van Hoorbeek made that move on Pauls Jonas to make sure of 6th position. That's where he would stay on his Honda SR Motor Blues machine. And Clement de Sal finding his way past Glenn Koldenoff and Pauls Jonas as he eventually charged back to 7th for Monster Energy Kawasaki. Despite a late charge from Tony Cairoli, Team HRC's Tim Geiser managed to hang on for the race win. His first since the last Grand Prix of 2017 at Villars-sous-Écot, where he won race 1. But Cairoli was victorious overall, picking up 47 points. Geiser second, Paulin third, his first podium for Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha. Tony Cairoli has the lead in the championship still. Geiser second, Paulin up to third. And what was a fantastic day's action here at Matchley Basin at the end of March.
Ladies and gentlemen, Antonio Cairoli.
Tony, tell us about your weekend. It looked like a smart race, but you had problems with your shoulder, didn't you?
Sì, è stata una gara abbastanza difficile perché in settimana ho avuto un problemino alla spalla e al collo, e anch'io come Jorge, e ovviamente lui peggio di me perché purtroppo è rimasto a casa, quindi lo salutiamo, speriamo che rientri presto. Non sono riuscito a spingere dall'inizio su questa pista, anche perché questo problema mi dava molto fastidio al braccio destro e non riuscivo a spingere dai primi minuti di gara, e quindi ho dovuto fare una gara intelligente. Sono partito bene tutte e 2 le manche, ho aspettato qualche errorino di qualcuno e siamo riusciti a portare a casa la vittoria del Gran Premio, però siamo contentissimi. Poi durante la gara, superati i 20-25 minuti di gara, mi sono sentito subito meglio e è cominciato un po' a riscaldarsi il braccio e la spalla e andava un po' meglio, quindi sono riuscito di nuovo a spingere bene. Ci siamo andati vicino a portare a casa una doppietta, però Tim, che andava forte oggi, è stato un bel avversario, quindi speriamo adesso sulla sabbia di Valkenswaard domenica prossima di non avere grossi problemi con questo problema e speriamo di fare un altro bel Gran Premio.
Round 3 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands. In MX2 race 1, it was Jorge Prado who crossed the foxhole shot line for the 2nd time this season, closely followed by Thomas Olsen, Henry Jacobi and Tom Vial. David Puchis and Adam Sterry were not too far behind either, nor too were the Yamahas of Jago Kitt and Ben Watson. Conrad Muse ran into Michael Sadner and crashed, so too did Valandren, but he was lucky to get away with it. Jago Kitt eventually fell from 7th, but he would eventually come back strong in the latter stage of the race. His teammate Watson, though, would fall and get back to 5th. Vial on the number 28 started to fade. He was caught there by Kevin Valandren. That was for 4th. A couple laps later, it was David Puchis who went through into 5th, but he was passed in the latter stages by Watson and Jago Kitt. Kitt eventually came home in 7th on his Yamaha. Prado, though, was a winner in race 1 from Olsen and Jacoby. MXGP race 1, Tony Cairoli crossed the Foxhole shot line for his 3rd Foxhole shot of the season. Closely behind was the 99 of Max Anstey, Tim Geiser and Jeremy Seewer. Cairoli, though, would lose his lead before the end of the first lap. He ran wide and Anstey was through. Geiser had a big crash on lap 4. He fell spectacularly from 3rd. He remounted in 12th and fought back to 7th. Anstey then threw it away, handing the lead to Cairoli on lap 7. Anstey would eventually come home in 16th. DeSalle came under attack late on in the race from a resurgent number 25 from DeSalle, who made this pass to go into 2nd. Jassiconis passed the hard-charging Italian to move up into 4th place. The Italian, Monticelli, then fell. He eventually came home in 18th. Tony Cairoli, though, was the winner from DeSalle, Paul-Ant, Jassiconis and Van Horbik. MX2, race 2. Once again, it was Prado crossing the Foxhole shot line for the 3rd time this year. Once again, Henry Jacoby right behind him on the Kawasaki, and Olsen was never too far behind either, with his teammate in tow, number 14, Jed Beaton, and Tom Vial. Vial was up to 4th, though, by the end of the first lap. But he was in trouble. Number 303, Alberto Ferrato, made his move into 7th position, but then the 28 of Vial would fall out. He would pick himself up and rejoin the race, but would eventually come home in 13th place. Alberto Ferrato made a move on the 46 of David Puchis, on what was a good day for the Italian. Valandren made his move on Jacoby to move into 4th, which is where the HRC Honda rider would stay. Jacoby would eventually come home in 6th place. Prado won the race, but in a photo finish, it was Jago Kitt who crossed the line 0.157 of a second clear of Thomas Olsen to take 2nd. Olsen was 3rd, Valandren 4th, Watson 5th, and the overall belonged to Prado. Olsen 2nd overall, Kitt on the podium for the first time for Yamaha. Championship now looks like this. Olsen continues to hold the red plate. Jacoby is 2nd, Valandren 3rd, Prado up from 6th to 4th, courtesy of his 2 race wins today. But Olsen continues to lead for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna as we head to Italy in a week's time.
We are getting closer to our goal, and that's getting the red plate right now. Had 2 really good motos and an overall win, so couldn't ask for a better day, and hopefully to keep going this way and get that red plate soon.
MXGP race 2, and once again Tony Cairoli first over the Foxhole shot line for the 4th time this season. Tim Geiser squeezed out Monticelli for 2nd as they exited the first couple of corners. Jeremy Van Horbik not too far behind, and Sean Simpson in there as well on the RFX KTM in 5th. Simpson would eventually come home in 8th place. Monticelli was hanging on in there in 2nd position, but before the end of the first lap, he fell from his standing construct KTM, handing the advantages to everybody else around him. Tonus also fell in that same turn. Tonus will eventually come home 25th. DeSalvo, an early charger into 4th with that move on Simpson. Gauthier Paul-Ant, though, fell spectacularly from 7th whilst trying to pass Lupino. The Yamaha rider would come home in 13th. Another hard charge through the field for Jassiconis on the Husqvarna. That pass on Simpson put him into 5th place. He then went after DeSalle, and she came home in 4th. DeSalle would have to settle for 5th. Tony Cairoli, though, his 5th win from 6 starts in 2019, ensured the overall victory from Tim Geiser and Jeremy Van Horbik. And the overall Grand Prix looked like this: Cairoli, DeSalle and Geiser. Van Horbik and Jassiconis also tied on points for 3rd, but losing out on a 3-way tiebreak. Cairoli now extends his lead to
22 points over Geiser. And DeSalle moves up to third. Geiser now heads home to Italy for round 4 with the red plate on the front of his KTM.
Yeah, like I said before, it was difficult the week because I thought after some rest after England I will feel a little bit better, but in the sand you feel a little bit more than on the RPEC. So I was struggling a little bit in the beginning of the races, but second moto was better actually than the first one, and I could take 2 good starts again and stay in front for both races.
Here's what happened round 4 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Trentino, Pietramarata in Italy. Jorge Prado crossed the Fox Holeshot line for the 4th time this year, closely followed by Darren Sinai, Tom Vial, Ika Larinaga and Jago Kietz. Thomas Olsen, championship leader, was buried a few positions further back on his Husqvarna. Olsen then fell early on in the race from 5th place. He would remount in 11th. Jago Kietz found his way past the number 66 of Ika Larinaga to move into 3rd. And as the race went on, Larinaga started to fade back. Jacobi went through on the Spaniard to go into 4th. Olsen also followed through late on in the race to get into 5th place. Olsen also found his way past Mitch Evans as well, as the Australian came home in 6th, but on the final lap, Jago Kietz found his way past Tom Vial to take 2nd, but it was a win for Prado in race 1. MXGP race 1. Tony Cairoli from the centre of the gate crossed the line for his 5th Fox Holeshot of the season, closely followed by 2 Italians in the form of Alessandro Lupino and Ivo Monticelli. Gauthier Paulin was right there in 4th place, but Geiser in 5th had other ideas for the Frenchman. He charged up the inside of the Yamaha rider to take 4th. He made a mistake, and Monticelli was also caught napping. So too was Lupino. The Slovenian all of a sudden in 2nd place. Gauthier Paulin got himself into 3rd by lap 3 with that pass on the standing construct KTM, but all eyes on these 2, Cairoli and Geiser. Geiser scythed his way through with 4 laps to go. Tony Cairoli tried to come back on his KTM, but in the end it wasn't enough. Geiser was victorious from Cairoli and Paulin. MX2, race 2. Once again, Jorge Prado, this time crossing the Fox Holeshot line for the 5th time this year. Carnage at the back, taking out Darren Sinai, Zach Pichon and 1 or 2 other riders, as everybody else got through the first couple of corners. But it was Prado from Vial, Henry Jacobi and Brian Moreau in 4th. Olsen, a couple of positions further back, battled with Jago Kietz in the early stages of the race. Brian Moreau, though, fell and would not pick up points. Henry Jacobi, bottom of your screen, lost the front end as he went over the bars from 3rd. That handed the advantage to the Yamaha of 193, Jago Kietz, who gladly took over 3rd place. At the halfway point, the 193, Jago Kietz found his way past the 28 of Tom Vial, who then started to come under pressure from Thomas Olsen and then Ben Watson. All of a sudden, with Jacobi's pass on the 28, Vial was down in 6th. Watson, final lap, made this move on Olsen, the championship leader, to go into 3rd behind his teammate Jago Kietz. But it was a win once again for Jorge Prado, taking his 18th Grand Prix victory of the season. Another perfect day. Jago Kietz 2nd overall with 2 seconds. Vial on the podium with a 3rd and a 6th, thanks to Ben Watson's pass on Olsen on the final lap. Olsen now leads the championship lead by 20. Prado back up to 2nd. Jacobi 3 behind in 3rd. Thomas Olsen, of course, continues to lead the championship. There's the red plate to prove it.
Yeah, that was cool. You know, we are getting close to 20 points away off the lead, and that's very good. You know, hopefully we can keep going this way. We are in the best way, going all 1-1.
Final race of the day. MXGP MXGP Race 2. This time it was Tim Geiser crossing the box hole shot line for his first time this season. Tony Cairoli tucked in behind him, Gauthier Paulin, Arnaud Tonus and Tommy Searle were right there as well. Paulin settled into third, ahead of his teammate Tonus, and that's where they would finish ahead of Arminas Jasikonis, but all eyes on the top two, Geiser and Cairoli. Cairoli found his way into the lead on lap 9 of 19. He stayed there for about 5 laps before Geiser struck. Took the Italian by surprise, and the Honda rider was back in front. Mistakes all over the track for both riders. But Cairoli dug deep, and once again he found his way into the front with 2 laps to go. Geiser thought he'd made the move at the end of the straight, but was denied again. Cairoli then, 2 mistakes in a row, the second one more costly than the first. Ran too wide, threw his KTM down the track. Geiser was able to break clear. He came home to make it a perfect day in Italy, his 16th Grand Prix victory, and guess what? His first Grand Prix win since Sweden 2017, and his first double race win since Mexico 2017, the same year as well. Tony Cairoli second overall, Gauthier Paulin third, and that means that Cairoli now has a 16-point advantage over Tim Geiser. Gauthier Paulin 33 points further back in third, but what a day for Tim Geiser and Honda, and all the Slovenian fans as well. But Cairoli, of course, leads as we head to Mantova, round 5.
I had a good start. I was up front and then leading, and then Tony was behind me, and then we pushed really hard, and then we switched places a couple of times, and then on the end it was just unbelievable. After like more than a year, I won the GP.
The Monster Energy MXGP of Lombardia at Mantova got underway with MX2 Race 1 in very difficult conditions. A big pileup through the first turn took out Calvin Valandren, Henry Jacobi and Mitch Evans, but it was Jorge Prado who grabbed his 6th Vauxhall shot of the season, closely followed by his teammate Tom Vial. As Valandren and Jacobi picked themselves up into second position was Michele Chervelin. Jago Hirsch challenged him though in the early stage, but then Vial fell down to 18th. He would eventually come home in 23rd place. Chervelin then got caught napping as the 193 of Jago Hirsch found his way through, and then as Jed Beaton went past the Italian, the Yamaha from the 747 broke. He would not score at home. Olsen took advantage of the goggle lane in race 1 as he carved his way through the field to an eventual 6th place, as Henry Jacobi, number 29, made a good line around the outside to take advantage of his teammate Adam Sterry to move up a little higher in the order into 11th, but it was a win for Prado. MXGP Race 1, look over to the right-hand side, Tim Geiser in blue, got clipped as he lost the front end. It was Monticelli who clipped him, more carnage through the first turn, but it was Cairoli who grabbed his 6th Vauxhall shot of the season. Monticelli was second. His standing construct KTM teammate Max Anstey was there in third. The 2 riders almost came together though, coming out of turn 4, the left-hander, as Monticelli went straight on. Anstey emerged out in front of him though, in second position. Cairoli led, he had a 4-second advantage, but then tipped over, lost 2 of those seconds as Anstey closed in. Tim Geiser was in the wars again. He connected with Severbrilikov. He went down to 15th. Monticelli then, his luck ran out. He was in third. He got passed by Jonas. More crashes for Geiser. And Jasikonis nudged his way up the inside of Anstey in the latter stages of the race to go third, behind his teammate Paul Jonas. Tony Cairoli, though, taking the race win in moto number 1. MX2 Race 2, and problems with the start gate for 1 or 2 riders. I think Jago Hirsch in there, but it might even been Jago Hirsch that fell in turn 1. Tom Vial, though, with his 4th Vauxhall shot of the year. David Puches was in second position, but Prado found his way through before they came out of turn 2. So it was the 2 KTMs who led the way. Puches was third, Dylan Walsh was 4th. Valandren made a mistake, and so too did Adam Sterry. Towards the end of the lap, though, Jorge Prado leaped his way past his teammate into the lead. Vial was in second. Olsen down the inside of Puches to get himself into third on the number 19 machine. Henry Jacobi was pushing hard on his Kawasaki, number 29. He made a move at the inside of Puches to get into fourth, but it was short-lived because the Dutchman made the move stick in the next left-hander. Jed Beaton went down hard from sixth position with a handful of laps to go. He did pick himself up and finish in 17th position as Jacobi had an off-track excursion and then did not finish the race. With 3 to go, he was in 4th place. Jorge Prado, though, crossed the line to make it a double race win to take his 19th Grand Prix victory of the year. Thomas Olsen a 6 and a second for second overall. Puches third overall with 2 4th place finishes, his first podium in MX2. Championship looks like this. Olsen now on 207. Prado just 7 points back. It was 20 at the start of the day. Jacobi now third, Geertz fourth, Watson fifth. But a 19th victory for Jorge Prado, but it's Thomas Olsen who continues to lead as we head to round 6.
It was a great weekend after one month off. It's great to get back and get good. You know, I'm in shape, I'm feeling good, and you know, I did everything I can do. I won both motos, so felt very comfortable. Till now, I won every single moto I raced.
MXGP race 2, Geiser started in the middle this time, but still didn't help his cause, as once again Tony Cairoli crossed the Fox hole shot line ahead of everybody else to take his 7th black plate of the season. Gauthier Paulin was in second. Ivan Monticelli, though, went down as he ran into the back of DeSalle going into turn 2. He would not finish the race. Cairoli led. Paulin was second. Brian Bogus was third. Anstey got connected by Sean Simpson. Simpson rejoined the race, but Anstey, his time was done. Both standing construct KTMs were out of the race on lap 1. Geiser at the inside of DeSalle to move himself up into 6th place. And Paul Jonas thought he'd got the better of Team HRC's Brian Bogus, 189 to go second, but the Honda outlasted the Husky. Then there was a scare for Jonas. Geiser in the wars again, but he was safe in 6th position. It was an eventful day for the rider who sits second in the championship. Simpson was out of the race with a handful of laps to go from 14th. Cairoli crossed the line to make it an emphatic double at home here in Lombardia, making up for second overall in Trentino last time out. Jonas second overall for the Husqvarna rider. Paulin third, back-to-back podiums now for the Frenchman. For Jonas, though, his first career podium in MXGP. Cairoli now 40 points clear of Tim Geiser as we head to round 6 in Portugal. Paulin now just 26 behind the Slovenian, and the red plate still belongs to Cairoli.
The season is still really long, but we try to make a good racing every weekend and try to stay safe. This is the goal, and of course today it was really important to have a good start and stay in front, stay clean, and that's what we did. And okay, looking forward for the next one in Portugal. It's a track that I like again, and hopefully to see again a lot of people there.
Round 6 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Portugal. MX2 race 1, and it was Jorge Prado with his 7th Fox hole shot of the season. Darian Sinai fell in turn 2. Was trampled on by almost the rest of the pack, but it was Chervelin who quickly got into second on his Yamaha ahead of Henry Jacobi, Mitch Evans and Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Jacobi, in no mood for hanging around, quickly surged past the Italian into second. And a couple of laps later, Thomas Olsen also moved past the 747 into third. The Italian then fell spectacularly on lap 7, and he was out of the race. Final couple of laps, Olsen nudged his way past Jacobi to get into second. He then fell, and it was a win, though, for Jorge Prado for the 9th time this year ahead of Olsen, Geertz, Evans and Boirame. MXGP race 1, Tony Cairoli on the right-hand side, squeezed his two main rivals, but it was Cairoli with his 8th foxhole shot of the season. Geisser quickly into second, Tonus well placed in third. Tonus and Siwa also inside the top 4 or 5 positions, but Gauthier Paulin would fall on the opening lap from 4th position, top of your screen. He picked himself up, rejoined the race at the back of the grid, and he surged his way back to 15th. Meanwhile, Paul Jonas got himself in the 7th on the opening lap. He would eventually finish in 7th. Late on in the race, Tonus up the inside of Siwa to get himself into 3rd. That was just before the halfway point. Cairoli led, but then he made a mistake as Geisser started to apply the pressure. Geisser didn't need a second invite. Cairoli tried on several attempts to find his way back in front, but it was Geisser who held strong to come home for his 4th race win of the year. Cairoli was 2nd, Tonus, Siwa and Levy top 5. MX2 race 2. This time it wasn't the KTM that grabbed the foxhole shot. Instead, it was Rowan van der Moosdijk on the Kawasaki. By the time we reached turn 2, though, Prado was in control, but not for long. The number 43, Mitch Evans on the Honda from Australia, took over the lead. And late down the laps for the first 4 rounds to keep the number 61 of Prado at bay. Another poor start for number 19, Thomas Olsen. This was the pass that Prado put on Evans to get himself in a second. Into the lead, sorry, but Olsen having to work hard just to get back on terms. He split the 2 Yamahas of Chervelin and Maxime Renault, eventually got clear into 5th place. As the 2 Yamahas battled, Chervelin finished 7th and Renault finished 9th. Evans was hanging on to 2nd, but again, no move for messing around. Jacobi surged his way into that 2nd place with about 5 laps to go. Olsen had to be content with 4th after that pass on Rowan van der Moosdijk, but it was Prado who was victorious once again. Jacobi 2nd, Evans 3rd, Olsen 4th, van der Moosdijk was 5th. 2 more wins for Prado, his 5th Grand Prix win in 2019, his 20th career win in total. Olsen 2nd, Evans 3rd, his first podium since Argentina, round 1. Prado is your new championship leader though. 3 points the gap between him and Olsen as we head to France. Jacobi still there in 3rd. But what a Grand Prix we had here in Portugal.
Yeah, I really wanted to win here, the both motos in front of all this crowd and you know, get the red plate. So now that I have it, I will try to keep it till the end of the season. It's not easy, but I'm working hard and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Great weekend.
MXGP race 2. Tony Cairoli up the inside, but it was number 4 of Arno Tonus who just bagged the foxhole shot, his first of the season. A couple of riders went crashing out turn 1. Bar bang in action in turn 2, caught out Julian Lieber as his teammate Desal led in the early stages of the race. Geisser on the charge early, moved up into 4th with that pass on Siwa, then into 3rd with that move on the number 4 of Tonus. He went after Cairoli and Desal. Cairoli sensed the danger. He moved aside the Belgian, and pretty soon he was followed by the 243 of Geisser. They were now 1st and 2nd. Desal was in 3rd. Just like race 1 though, a mistake from Cairoli. The bottom one of the hills, he lost the front, he went down, picked himself up in 4th position, but it was Geisser who now led from Desal and Tonus. Tonus up the inside of Desal, got himself into 2nd on his Yamaha. Cairoli in exactly the same place. He took the lead earlier on in the race, made that move on Desal to get 3rd, and then he went after the number 4 of Tonus. This pass was for 2nd, again after several laps of trying, but Geisser was already too far ahead on his Honda. Geisser crossed the line for his 5th race win of the season, his 2nd double in 2019. 17 career wins now for Geisser. Cairoli 2nd with 2 seconds. Tonus 2/3, his first podium in 2 years since round 4 Trentino of that year. Cairoli continues to hold the championship lead though. That gap now 34 points between him and Geisser. Paulin losing ground this weekend. He's now 54 points back in 3rd. But a fantastic weekend for Team HRC and Tim Geisser. Cairoli continues to lead though as we head to France, round 7.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Last weekend we were struggling. Didn't try it well, but this week we regrouped and had an amazing race, so I'm really thankful and want to say a huge thank you to all my team. all the fans, also some fans from Slovenia came here, so it's nice to see Slovenian flags and just everybody, you know, around me. We work really hard for this, and I'm so happy. Yeah.
Amici, ben ritrovati. Abbiamo appena finito di vedere i primi 6 highlights dei primi 6 round della MXGP e della MX2 2019. Cosa dire? Grandissima emozione, grandissima adrenalina e tantissimi colpi di scena. Faccio un riassuntino del campionato nelle varie categorie che ci sta regalando veramente grandissime soddisfazioni. Tonino Cairoli, tabella rossa in MXGP, il numero 222 sventola alto come la bandiera italiana, qualche errore forse di troppo, un po' di pressione messa da un fantastico Team Geyser, secondo in campionato, in fase di recupero, che sta rosicchiando punti su punti appunto al nostro Tonino nazionale. Parliamo di Gauthier Paulin, terzo in classifica, pilota che non mi sta esaltando particolarmente, porta a casa i propri compitini, qualche errore di troppo, qualche caduta di troppo, speriamo che si riprenda. Una menzione particolarissima a due piloti chiaramente di casa nostra, e sto parlando di Alessandro Lupino in sella alla Kawasaki e a Ivo Monticelli in sella alla KTM. Due grandi piloti che si stanno dimostrando aggressivi appunto mentalmente, ben seguiti tecnicamente. Speriamo di vederli ancora più in alto perché ci possono regalare veramente delle grandissime soddisfazioni. MX2, KTM ancora sugli altari con Jorge Prado, talento per me veramente grande, che dimostra di avere una velocità, un'aggressività, una tecnica di guida superiore agli altri. Si è ripreso la tabella rossa a sfavore di Thomas Kiera Olsen, pilota Husqvarna, che ha dimostrato grande velocità, però che anche lui sente molto la pressione di chi spinge da dietro. Staremo un po' a vedere. Jago Gerz, terzo in campionato, pilota belga in sella alla Yamaha, pilota che mi piace molto, e con un Jacobi che sta dimostrando veramente consistenza e non timore reverenziale nei confronti di nessuno, per cui ne vedremo delle belle nel proseguo della stagione. Parliamo di EMX 125, un nome su tutti, Mattia Guadagnini in sella allo squadra del team AD, che sta facendo veramente cose eccelse, tabella rossa, insieme al suo, diciamo, compagno di squadra in MX 250 Alberto Forato. Li metto a fianco nella disamina di quello che è successo fino adesso. Mattia Guadagnini, grande maturazione come pilota, come ragazzo, sempre col sorriso sul volto, non si lamenta mai, veramente aggressivo in pista, e forse la rivelazione appunto di questo 2019. Alberto Forato veramente veloce, consistente anche lui in sella allo squadra del team AD che ha due piloti con la tabella rossa nei rispettivi campionati. Cosa dire ancora? Non vorrei tediarvi con le parole, vi lascio agli highlights del GP di Francia e noi ci rivediamo poi settimana prossima con un sacco di novità. Non dimenticate che le puntate le potete vedere sulla nostra pagina internet motocrossmypassion.it e sul nostro canale YouTube Motocross My Passion TV. Per cui vi aspetto numerosi, cercate di condividere il più possibile per avere più motocross in televisione. Noi di Motocross My Passion ci siamo e siamo sempre più aggressivi. Ciao!
Took over to the left. A great jump from Tom Goyon. Came across 5-6 guys to open up the turn, but alongside him was Eddie Wade. He kept the power down. He crossed the line first. Kai de Wolf was just behind him in third place. And behind them as well was Perez Plaza and Mike Guerda. Guerda losing out early on though. Kai de Wolf dropped down to the bottom of the hill, found himself in 5th position. Then into 4th. This was a challenge for the lead though, a lap or so into the race. Tom Goyon got better drive out to the bottom corner. He switched to the inside as Wade was forced to go to the outside. This battle here though was 6th, 7th, 8th for a while. Or was it 4th, 5th and 6th? Anyway, it wasn't a great start for the 101 of Guadagnini. Mike Guerda found his way up past the 24 of Braceres Martinez. Next on the list was the 101, the championship leader, Mattia Guadagnini. All of a sudden, he was in 4th. That move on the inside of Mike Guerda put him into 3rd. Actually, this move put him into 3rd when he found his way past Perez Plaza. The 29 of Alessandro Facca was in 16th place. You've got Adam Kovacs behind him, and then Liam Everts. But then we had a battle here. The 384 of Aguilera found his way through, and then down the inside of Martinez Brassenes, a second half resurgence from the young Spaniard. Florian Mio moved inside, or around the outside of Kai de Wolf on the number 14 machine, and then the Dutchman knacked his way across the first turn, picked himself up, but eventually come home in 14th place. But it was a win by 6 seconds for Tom Goyon. Eddie Wade 2nd, Guadagnini was 3rd.
What are you doing now as business? Well, this weekend I'm here with Fox Racing. We have a Facebook Live show that Georgia Lindsay and myself are hosting.
Gate drop, Ferrato over on the left-hand side. Didn't get the jump that he wanted. Came from the middle, Jan Krzyzewski. Roman Mostite was in there, but holding a nice tight line through 3rd, and then 2nd at the top of the hill was the 118 of Rubini. Behind him was Clochet, the 50 of Lugana. Gilbert was in there as well in about 6th, 7th position as they dropped downhill for the first time. Battle for the lead, though, changed halfway around the first lap. Rubini passing Krzyzewski. Clochet followed quickly through into 2nd by the time they reached the next downhill. 3 French riders inside the top 3. Roman Mostite sided his way up the inside of Paolo Lugana as he went after Josh Gilbert. So this was 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Gilbert got himself into 3rd eventually, but not before Van der Moosdijk and Fernandez crashed out of 5th and 6th. Eventually, the 3 of Gilbert found his way through on his Bill-based Honda. That put him into 3rd. Ferrato was challenging for 4th. He lost his seat as he got cross-rutted. And then he started to come under pressure. Gilbert fell, so too did Krzyzewski. All of a sudden, Ferrato was in 3rd with Beneston in 4th, but the Frenchman just closed the door on the Italian and nicked that 3rd position, who was struggling riding around with no seat. Jimmy Clochet was in second and closing in on Rubini for the lead. But eventually he was able to open up that gap as Roman Mosdijk was back in the game and working his way through the field. But this time with Caleb Grothus behind him. Those two came home in 12th and 13th. Beniston for Yamaha Europe MJC had to be content with third. Second was Jimmy Clochet for Bud Racing Kawasaki, but it was Stefan Rubini for Honda Red Motor Asamoto who won race 1.
Oui, effectivement, puisque dans quelques instants, vous le voyez, ils sont en train de se préparer du côté de la zone podium. Et bien, c'est tout simplement le championnat du monde MX2 pour la manche qualificative. Avec tout d'abord le Satina, le tour d'opposition, c'est ensuite 20 minutes de tour pour bien, tout simplement que l'on commence à prendre les premières informations de ce qui pourrait se passer demain à ce Grand de France. Et à terminer 3.
Stephen Rubini, congratulations. First race win in the MX2 50s on home soil, despite feeling a little bit second-hand today.
Yeah, I take a really good start, and then that was really good for the race because the track was a little bit wet. So I'm really happy about my start, and fuck, it's so amazing to win at home. It's just the first race, but it's already good. I have a little injury on my ankle, so it's a little bit painful, but I'm really happy.
Good luck for tomorrow's race.
Good! Yeah!
Round 7 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of France at Saint-Jean-d'Angely. Jorge Prado grabbed the whole shot. He was closely followed by Jago Kietz and Henry Jacobi. Kelly Chervelin was not too far behind either as they hit the top of the hill. Adam Sterry had a nice tight line to the inside, but as they dropped downhill, Evans from Australia was in 5th, just behind the Yamaha of Chervelin. He was quickly in the 4th as Watson was challenging after a poor start. That move on Sterry put him up into 9th position early on. Jacobi tried to give chase to the top 2. A poor start for the 19 of Olsen. He had to side his way through. That move was on the 959 of Maxime Renault. This one on Adam Sterry as he climbed further up the field. He then had more work to do as he closed in on the 53. But Dylan Walsh, he nudged him aside and then went after Ben Watson on the Yamaha 919. This pass put him up into 8th place. Talking point of the race, that one. Dylan Walsh made a mistake at the top of the hill, but as he tried to correct, Maxime Renault landed on him, and those two were fighting over 7th place. Olsen then brushed aside the young Frenchman, and then the Italian of Moreau and Chervelin, and eventually carved his way up into 6th place by the time the checkered flag fell. Ben Watson wasn't done either. His move into 8th in the latter stages of the race, that pass on Brian Moreau. But it was Jorge Prado who won the qualifying race for the 3rd time this year, ahead of Jago Kietz and Henry Jacobi. Mitch Evans was 4th, Tom Vial was 5th, Olsen 6th, Chervelin 7th, and Watson was 8th.
Yeah, it was a good motor, got a whole shot. That was the goal for today as well. You know, get a good start, get out of all the trouble, and you know, it went like planned, so perfect for tomorrow. First, feeling good. Jago was there all moto, but anyway, I was feeling good. Tomorrow, I will do a bit extra, and hopefully we can get overall.
In the MXGP qualifying race, Tony Cairoli didn't get his usual lightning start, but it was two Yamahas of number 4 and 21 of Tonus and Paulin. DeSalle tucked in behind them. Cairoli was about 8th, but watch what happens next. The top of the hill into turn 3. Paulin bobbled in the corner and lost control of his machine. Cairoli just behind, got caught out as well, but Lieber ran smack into the Yamaha of Paulin, and riders and bikes and bodies were all over the place. It was a miracle. Everyone picked themselves up and rejoined the race, albeit 34th, 35th and 36th. It was Tonus who led the way, though, from Monticelli and Geiser, as Cairoli carved his way through. Paul Jonas picked himself up after a kerfuffle, if you like, with Bobryshev. The 461 of Febvre eventually found his way past Benoit Pacharel. That put him into 7th place. Geiser made this move on Monticelli to move into 2nd around about lap 4. And then a couple of laps later, he took the lead from Tonus with that pass there. Then Monticelli started to drop backwards. DeSalle was the first to go through on lap 8 into 3rd place. Brian Bogus fell as Cairoli made his move, and then Cairoli would also fall. He would eventually fall to 14th. Jeremy Van Horbik on the Honda made this pass for 6th on Ivo Monticelli, who came home in 7th. But for Tim Geiser, it was his 3rd qualifying race win of the season. Ono Tonus was 2nd, DeSalle was 3rd, Sewer and Febvre 4th and 5th. Van Horbik was 6th, Monticelli was 7th, and Koldenhoff was 8th.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Today I was really enjoying on the track. The track is like quite sketchy. It's quite hard and big bumps, but like I had a lot of fun. So thank you to all the team, and tomorrow is another day, and tomorrow it counts. So we hope we can have a good start and then riding well.
Round 7 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of France at Saint-Jean-d'Angely, MX2 Race 1, and it was the 8th Vauxhall shot for number 61, Jorge Prado. Behind him, Michele Chervelin, Zach Pichon, Adam Sterry, Dylan Walsh, Brian Moreau, and then Jago Geerts. Brian Moreau, though, fell down the first hill. Jago Geerts quickly into 3rd, though, before a 3rd of the way round the lap, signalling his intent. Took a couple of laps to find his way past Chervelin, but when he did, that pass was for 2nd. Thomas Kjær Olsen didn't make a great start, but he had to charge through the field. He found his way past Adam Sterry to get himself into 4th. His teammate, though, fell just a couple of places ahead of him. Jacobi would eventually come home in 8th. 2 laps to go, though. The crowd on their feet because Jago Geerts whittled down a 3-second gap to Jorge Prado, and the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha rider from Belgium took his first ever career win in race 1. MXGP race 1, Tony Cairoli good out of the start, better than he was in qualifying, but it was Ono Tonus with his 2nd Vauxhall shot of the season. Cairoli was there 2nd. Up the inside, Tim Geiser quickly got into 3rd. He was closely followed by Febvre and the 91 of Sewer. Dropping downhill for the first time then, it was the Yamaha from the KTM, but by turn 6, the Honda of Geiser cut to the inside of the 222, took over 2nd position. A lap later, he was past Tonus and into the lead. Cairoli quickly followed by the Yamaha rider as well, as he didn't want to let Geiser too far out of his tracks. Gauthier Paulin, he fell from 11th position early on in the race. He would pick himself up in 18th. Meanwhile, Clement DeSalle was up the inside of Jeremy Sewer as he was chasing a top 5 position, but it was Tim Geiser who took his 6th race win of the year. MX2, race 2. Once again, it was Jorge Prado, this time Vauxhall shot number 9. His teammate was up the inside, right there with him, Tom Vial, as they came out of the 2nd turn at the top of the hill. Adam Sterry, another good start for him on the F&H Kawasaki in 3rd, number 8-11. Jago Geerts in 4th. Geerts had a real chance to win the overall. Tom Vial fell on the first lap, though. He would pick himself up in 28th and fall again later on in the race. A close call between Jago Geerts and Adam Sterry as the Belgian pushed by the Welshman into 3rd. Another poor start for Olsen, this time working his way through the field to an eventual 5th place by the time the flag fell. That was the second time that Vial would fall. He would eventually come home in 28th. The two teammates, Watson and Geerts, battled over second for much of the race as Henry Jacobi fell. He would pick himself up in 17th. Olsen works his way to that 5th place. More moves in the latter stages of the race. Geerts fell whilst closing in on Prado. That gave the Spaniard a little bit of breathing space at the head of the field. Adam Sterry eventually came home in 6th after being passed by Olsen in the latter stages of the race. It was Prado with his 11th race win of the season. Of course, he took the overall as well. Jago Geerts, his 3rd podium in 2019, and Olsen was 3rd with a 3.5. And in the championship, Jorge Prado extends his lead from 3 to 14 points now over Olsen. Geerts up to 3rd. Jacobi is now 7 points further back, and Evans now up to 5th. That was your podium here this weekend in MX2.
Yeah, it was a hard weekend. We had to push a lot in both motos, but you know, we finally got it done. That's the most important points for the championship as well. So I'm feeling good, feeling strong. So let's train and get better for the next one.
MXGP race 2, Tony Cairoli and Paul Jonas hit the gate. But it was Roman Febvre who just edged out Tonus for his first Vauxhall shot first since race 2 Latvia 2018. 3 Yamahas led down the first hill though, with Febvre, Tonus and Paulin. Van Hoorbeek was there in 4th position, but just behind them, Commander Sal. He was in 5th, but not for long. He made his move on the Belgian, Van Hoorbeek, to go into 4th, and then quickly passed Paulin to break up the Yamaha train. Geiser wasn't far behind either in 5th place. Tony Cairoli fell at the end of lap 1. He was into 14th. He dropped himself down to 25th. He also stalled later in the race as well. He would eventually come home 17th. De Sal couldn't do anything to keep the hard-charging Honda at bay. And Geiser by lap 3 was up into 3rd. He then quickly went after Tonus a few laps later to get into 2nd. And then he went after, that was Cairoli, stalling his KTM. Just lost a position there though. Febvre in the end couldn't hold back Tim Geiser. Geiser in no mood for hanging around. He was a 1-1 in Portugal a week ago. Another double win here. Febvre 2nd, Tonus 3rd. Geiser, a back-to-back win for him and Honda, the first time now since 2017, rounds 3 and 4, Argentina and Mexico. Tony Cairoli's lead has been slashed to 10 points. The first non-KTM podium since Sweden 2017, and Yamaha get 2 riders on the podium since Thailand 2016, round 2. Cairoli still leads the championship though as we head to Russia.
Yes, I'm really happy how both days, yesterday and today, went. I was having fun, and I think that's the most important thing. You have to have fun, and then you can go really fast. So, yeah, 2 good races. I mean, the starts were not there. We have to work on the starts to get better there, but I mean, riding and selecting the lines was good, so I was really enjoying.
Appassionati, ben ritrovati in Motocross My Passion. Con questo sono qua con un'icona del mondo dell'enduro. La tabella rossa di Antonio Cairoli. Inizio di stagione in attesa della seconda manche dell'MX2 2017, vince il 5º titolo mondiale, contraddistingue il 2-2-2 Antonio Cairoli. Benvenuti su Motocross My Passion.
A 9th title for Cairoli, who came home in 2nd. Max Amsty came home.
E vi ricordo, Motocross My Passion c'è